Welcome to the first online course of its kind, How to Find Your First Job as a Lawyer. I'm Nicole Myers and I'm a lawyer in Toronto, and I'm here with lawyer coach Paulette, president of Creative Choices for the 21st Century Lawyer, Inc. Paulette, tell us about this amazing course.
I would love to tell you about this course. I've been really excited to launch it, and that's because it covers everything that I've gathered since 2010 and helping people like you, a past client, who was looking for their first job as a lawyer. So it's compiled into this online program. Nothing like it exists out there, and it really gives you all of the strategy and the tools to execute an effective and efficient job search in the 21st century.
Now, I was one of those lawyers that you helped a few years ago, and I really benefited from the program. I learned how to tap into the hidden job market, conduct informational interviews, and plan and strategize. Tell me, how does this course do that?
So it does all of that and more, actually. I really hate to admit this to you, Nicole, but it's better than the one-on-one work that we did, and I'll tell you why. One-on-one work, even though it is very effective, it's limited to time and the constraints of whether you know something is important enough to raise with me. So you know where I'm going with this. So you might go to a coffee date, for example, and have something really unfamiliar happen to you, or you might be preparing for that coffee date and you have this small question, but you don't want to raise it with me, and yet it is important, and you don't raise it with me, and then something bad happens at that coffee interview. So what I've done is I've tracked all of those sort of unforeseen circumstances over the years and have mapped them out in the course, so that when you're preparing for that coffee date, that video that covers that particular instance will tell you about all the things that you should be thinking about. So it hits all the different perspectives that you need to consider for every single step of your job search. That's why it's so much more inclusive.
The course sounds really comprehensive, Paulette. What topics does it cover?
So there are 12 modules. It starts from things like your attitude. So how you're feeling about this stage of your career. It's exciting and scary at the same time. I want to make sure that you're presenting with the right attitude. It goes into things like your personal brand. So how you present, how you want others to perceive you and what you have to offer. It goes into references, how to assemble them, how to know whether you've got a good reference or a bad reference. Things that we don't often think about in terms of strategizing and getting into the finer detail. How to put together that resume with my resume tips, how to put together a cover letter that invites somebody to want you to come in for an interview as opposed to boring them with a traditional opening like, please accept this letter as my application for. Nothing worse than an opening like that, audience. And then it covers things like the actual interview, how to prepare for it, how to follow up afterwards, and then how to negotiate that job offer. 12 modules, step by step. There really isn't any stone that's not uncovered in this course.
Wow, Paulette, it really does cover all of the topics I would want to know if I was doing it all over again. And they're even relevant to moving forward in the profession.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's actually a good point, because I created this course with input from people like you and other clients. So it's made for you by you, essentially. So there really is no reason to doubt whether it's going to cover any of the topics that you're thinking is important to your job search. And because you're here and there's so many people in the audience who are now in a position where they're having to start a job search for the first time as a new lawyer, and because you've been through that, Nicole, do you have any words of advice to the audience who are listening today?
That's a really good question, Paula. And I have to say that as a lawyer, your professional obligation is to provide your clients with the best legal and strategic advice.
Yep.
And so that means you undertake a plan of approach to providing multiple scenarios of the best outcome and sometimes the worst. And that includes strategizing, meeting with experts, obviously doing the research that's necessary, and then executing. And so I would argue that you have the same obligation to yourself that you do to the profession. Without you, there is no job. Without the best you, there is no job. And so I personally made the decision to work with you as my lawyer coach because I wanted to make sure that I had a solid plan with a proven leader that was guaranteed to work. The other option, of course, which many people do, and some falter and some learn from past failures and others do succeed, is that I could have taken the first 5 years of my career and navigated completely blindly amongst the masses. And I just thought to myself, that's not the best business case for the brand that I'm trying to project and also for the skills that I'm trying to develop. And so now, looking back a few years later, I'm quite pleased with the outcome of where I am and where I'm going. So I wanted to also just say thank you to you, and that's why I'm here, is to testify to the great work that you do with so many of us in coming into this profession.
Well, it truly is a collaboration. So as much as, I'm offering my expertise and skills, it's nothing if you don't put it into action. And I know you worked really hard to get where you are today. And so that's actually a good message to send to you, that with the right guidance, you too can also land your first job as a lawyer. There really needs to be no mystery to it. You do have to work though. You do have to work. So that's important to understand, is that this isn't an easy ride. You will invest the work in, but the difference is that this is going to be efficient. There's not going to be any trial and error, and it's going to accelerate your search because I'm telling you exactly what you need to do with laser focus. Thanks again, Nicole, so much for being with me and helping me to launch this really important project that I've been nurturing for some time and thinking about how to best benefit you. I know this course now makes my work that much more accessible, so I'm really hoping that you take advantage of all of the knowledge and the experience and the skill and the input from past people like yourself that have gone into the makings of this course. I want to thank you again for your support. I want to thank all of those who have assisted me along the way. I'm really looking forward to having you enroll in the course and to help you land your first job as a lawyer.